So many real estate agents are overpaying for the services that their brokerage offers. And I do say services because they should be working for you. And to me, your brokerage decision is all about what value you're getting for the price you're paying. I'm Lou Raven with Reinvest Real Estate.
And I'm Elise Palacios.
And together we formed Reinvest to help agents go from production to legacy. We help coach and train agents for free from every brokerage inside of our community at Skool.com. So hop over to Skool.com and check out Reinvest after this video.
It's our goal with every video to give you an actionable strategy to put into your business. But today we're going to talk about your business as a whole and how often you should be taking a look at the money that's going out and where you're spending money and what you're getting back from your output.
That's right. And we could do a deep dive into the P&L, but I think we'd lose everybody within the first minute. So we're not going to do that. We're going to focus on your one most expensive line item in your budget, and that's your brokerage.
How do people actually pick what brokerage to join as they're getting licensed?
I think for a lot of people, my experience was that I met somebody in a real estate licensing class that was with a brokerage already in an admin capacity. She liked it. She introduced me to the brokerage, and I went and I got hired right away. I thought it was about interviewing for a position at a brokerage. I didn't realize that they'll just take anybody with a pulse.
Yeah, which is a fantastic point of when you sit down with a brokerage, you should be interviewing them. And it's one of my favorite things to tell prospective agents now that, hey, why are you stressed about this? Like, they want you to be a part of their business. Do you want to be there? And that's a question that comes up a lot early on in your business. And then it kind of fades away into the background as your lead generation and deal managing kind of takes over.
And it's very easy to become complacent. And I talk to so many agents who've been at the same place for 5, 7, 10 years, and they haven't even considered making a change to another brokerage. Now, we all get the phone calls from the recruiters. Anybody who's doing any level of business does, I should say. And I actually like to hear them out. I'm going to be honest with you. I like to know what's going on in the local market. Of course, I recruit and build a team myself nationally. So from that standpoint, it's helpful for me to know what's going on with competitors. But even before I was doing that, when I was just in production, I wanted to know what was out there and what value props existed. And I think it's really naive of agents to just kind of hang up on that phone call or not at least do like a Google search and look into what some of the other brokerages offer.
Yes, and there comes a point where you can say, hey, I feel like I'm being sold. But if you haven't even thought about that part of your business for the last however many years you've been at your brokerage, and you initially joined that brokerage because your friend's sister had a friend who's a part of that brokerage, is that really the best way to run your business?
It's just not smart, right? Because things that were important to you when you were a new agent or in the first couple of years are probably different from what a 5-year or a 10-year agent would be looking at. So I do recommend taking that step back and saying, what do I actually need and what am I actually paying? And that split piece, that's a really, really big one if you want to touch on split and cap and kind of what that exchange looks like for some agents.
So a lot of agents focus on training up front, resources, access to your broker to answer all sorts of questions. That's really important early on. And then it switches to, okay, I want to keep more of my money.
Yep.
And a lot of brokerages have the model where they don't have a cap that you pay into the company. So what that means is no matter how many deals you do, you're paying 40%, 30%, it varies. For every transaction that you close, your brokerage is taking that same piece of it, which if you're doing a lot of business adds up. Early on, if you're not closing a lot of deals, that really probably won't affect you as much. But if we're talking to the agents who are doing well and that want to do better and master every corner of their business.
That's right. So there are other brokerages like Keller Williams, EXP, Real, a couple others that come to mind that are newer that do have an adjusting cap type of setup or have a cap type setup. So what it means, I'll just speak to my experience here at EXP Realty, is agents have an 80-20 cap, meaning they keep 80% of their commission until they've paid the brokerage $16,000. Then after that, they keep every single dollar. They keep 100% of their commission. The math works out to about $3.2 million if you're signing listings and buyers at 2.5%. If you're part of Reinvest, you're probably getting it done at about $2.5 million because we charge Mo money, and we like to get our agents there even faster.
So let's put that into really simple numbers that you might relate to. So if there's an agent who's doing pretty well, doing $10 million in sales per year, and they have a 90-10 split, which means keep 90% of their income and only 10% goes to their broker.
That sounds really good, right?
To a lot of people, it sounds great. Probably sounded great when they joined their brokerage. Maybe they even renegotiated their split to get up to 90. So they got that win along the way and they're feeling really good about where they are. To put that into a cap model like eXp Realty, if you're doing $10 million in sales, you're probably doing $250,000 GCI, which means you're spending about $25,000 to your brokerage. Now with that eXp Realty model, where you're paying only up to $16,000, that would be a lot more money back in their pocket. An extra $9,000 every year for not doing anything.
That's right. And not just that, actually. If you're doing that kind of business at eXp, you're probably close to being a mega icon agent,
probably.
Which means that you get your entire $16,000 cap back in the form of stock. So they'll give you 16 grand as company stock that vests over a 3-year period and has been going up historically. And then you only pay 5 grand total to the brokerage in transaction fees to do literally unlimited sales. So we're not here to sell you on eXp. We're just giving you an example of a capping model from what we know. And our experience has been that, keeping more of our hard-earned commission while still getting insane value from the brokerage has been an absolute game changer to our bottom lines. So the question that I always get asked is, okay, great, you've got this, this model where you keep more of your commission, but what are you giving up? Like, what are you actually losing? In our case, we're not losing anything. We're going to give you questions to ask and evaluate of every brokerage opportunity to make sure that you're getting everything you should be to run an effective business. So Elise, what are some of the things that an agent should be looking into if they're considering changing a brokerage?
Access. You should always have access to your broker. What's our response time at eXp?
Literally like 37 seconds.
Yep, and we have multiple per state. It doesn't matter if you're physically in the office with your broker or they're a phone call away. They have to be accessible.
Yep.
So if you're feeling like that's missing and you're left with questions and nobody there to answer it, that's a really big problem. Aside from that, you need marketing help. Like, let's get past, let's say you're not a brand new agent. There are a lot of brokerages that offer that early on training and they do it well. Let's say you're looking for development plans for your future clients and you need help marketing, doing all of the designs, the mock-ups, and all of that. Like, is your broker helping you and connecting you with the resources to do that at a high level?
So you need access to people that are doing things beyond what you're doing. And for us, a lot of times it's mentorship, it's alignment with people that are in our group who are doing hundreds of millions of dollars in sales per year, doing development deals. We've kind of got an unfair advantage, I would say, because I think a lot of times, my personal opinion is that a lot of times brokerages do really well with that new agent that's in that first, couple months or year or so, and they can train them on the basics, but then the training just stops. And it's like, well, what does that intermediary agent do? What about that person that isn't at their goal yet? They're doing well enough and they've got a career and they've got a standard of living, but it's not what they want. They want more.
Say that's where our level of Reinvest mentorship comes in.
Yep.
Agents that are doing business, they're doing well, and they want to work on their negotiating strategies, how to create a business that's going to run itself mostly, where you could possibly take a step back from it.
Yep.
Like, those are the hungry agents that we love to work with.
That's right. Some other things that I look for in a brokerage is their tech stack. How do they process files? How do they process client information? What tools are they giving you in training on CRMs and transaction management software, things like that? Like, basically, how do you do your job day to day, and how are they making it easier for you to do that job?
Now, I know a lot of agents who go to their broker or their office manager, they sit down, they ask these questions, and they say, I'm not sure if I'm unhappy, but I just want to make sure I'm in the right place.
Yep.
And you either get a, hey, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do if you're unhappy. Like, do you want a pizza party or, whatever else? And then there's the other scenario where they're like, oh, I'm sorry, here. Would you like a short-term loan? Would that potentially make you feel better?
No. It's never offered as a short-term loan. They'll give you a signing bonus or a re-signing bonus, which is actually a loan. So they'll offer an agent 10 grand, or we know people who've gotten more, but usually it's like 10 grand or something that they give you for a 3-year contract. You have to sell your soul for $10,000 for 3 years. That's like $300 a month. I've never stopped and done that math, but 36 months. So are you really gonna lock yourself into a contract with a brokerage for $300 per month? Like, go somewhere and sell more houses. Go somewhere, we'll train you to sell more houses and make 10 grand. It's insane. I just don't understand. And these agents, they don't read the fine print. They don't realize that what they're getting into isn't a grant, it's a loan. And they have to pay it back over 3 years. And if they don't, they have to pay it back when they leave.
Which makes sense. If an agent's in a vulnerable position and they think $10,000 now, like what would that do for your life? An extra $10,000 in your pocket today. Where would you spend it? Would you put your pool in your backyard? Would you go on vacation, pay off some debt, hire that assistant you've been hoping to hire? But all that's just encouraging short-term gratification and short-term thinking.
Yeah, the only one that's good on there is the assistant. And I would argue that if you're at a point where you need the 10 grand to hire an assistant, find a way to get the 10 grand from somebody else. Get a loan from, family member, somebody else in business, put it on your credit card. Like if you're that confident, you can scale. Literally,
2 deals.
1 or 2, and that's it. And you get the 10 grand rather than shackling yourself to some company that needs to pay to keep you. Like, what is that saying about that company where their strategy is, oh, we're going to give you money to handcuff you to a desk? No, thank you. I don't want to be there. A little bit of a rant. All right. So as we start to wrap up here, what are some final considerations that you would suggest? Like what, if you're sitting across from an agent and they're at that point where they're like just struggling to get ahead, they're happy enough, they've got a good enough career. Like what do they do to really break through whatever wall's in front of them?
Yeah, I see loyalty come up a lot.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing when it comes to business. Like loyalty is a really strong characteristic. People love to work with people who have loyalty to others and themselves. And the one thing that comes up a lot is just that I'm really close to my broker. I just love them. And you're like, hey, I really respect that you have that type of relationship and that they care about your business. But how many times have you gone over to their house and had dinner with them?
Or do you care about your broker more than you care about your family and how much money you're bringing home for them every year?
And it becomes a shift in conversation of, if that person cares about you so much, would they not want the best for you? Like we're locked into this mentality of avoiding what we believe to be confrontation. So we don't want to have a difficult conversation with somebody we respect and like. But if you flip it around, if that person has that same level of respect and likeness towards you, they're going to respect you no matter what you do and where you run your business. So if you're worried that they're going to have a harsh reaction, then maybe your relationship is not quite as it seems.
That is fantastic, and what a great note to wrap it up on. I'll just say we're both available to talk anytime, anything business related, whether it's brokerage change or just a deal you got that's going on, that's going sideways. You can find us at Skool.com, search for Reinvest Real Estate. Elise and I are in there all the time answering questions and helping agents, and we have tons of free resources that'll help you.
Trainings.
Like spreadsheets,
everything,
like buyer guides, seller guides. I forgot how good some of this stuff was until I revisited it with one of our agents recently.
So if your broker doesn't even have that level of resources, we're giving it away to you for free. If you hop on and get involved in the community. Our entire goal with Reinvest is to help agents grow and grow businesses that are going to help support the lifestyle that they're looking to have.
That's right. We believe more money in the hands of good people will do more good in the world, and so we're out here trying to help agents go from production to legacy. So we'll see you in Skool. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this video is helpful, and you'll get new videos from us every single week.